Hi guys, it is April from Getting Hygge With It. Today we're here to talk about the best historical fiction books that I read in 2019. Let's get into it. This is going to be a short video because I didn't read a ton of historical fiction this year. And also, I didn't read a lot of historical fiction that really hit home for me. So I've got 3 books. And 3 books is stretching it because one of these books I would have planted on the contemporary shelves, but I'm learning might actually be historical fiction. In any case, we are going from least favorite to most favorite. We've only got 3. Let's dive in. It's going to be a short video. First up is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. John Boyne is a beautiful writer. He wrote The Heart's Invisible Furies. I read that last year. So good. This is a very short book, and it follows a little boy who lives in Nazi Germany, and his father is a Nazi. His father is so high-ranking that he is in charge of Auschwitz, and his whole family moved to Auschwitz, and they live in a house just a little bit removed, but he can see in the distance from his bedroom window people walking around this little area, and he starts to decide that, you know what, I'm bored in this house. I don't love this house as much as I loved my other house, and he's like, I'm gonna go and see what they're doing. And he goes further and he's like, oh, they're wearing striped pajamas. And he goes further and he sees a little boy wearing striped pajamas on the other side of a fence, and he sits down and they become friends. And it is a very moving book. It is a very sad book, as you can imagine, but I really enjoyed it. It shows the innocence of children. You know, we have these scenes where he's like, you know, I think my friend is hungry and I'm gonna bring him food, but he doesn't understand what's going on. So on his way to go and see his friend, he'll be like eating some of the food and he just doesn't get it. Yeah, it's very heartbreaking to see in your mind's eye his friend just diminishing in spirit and in physical form because of the way he's being treated in Auschwitz, and it's just really wonderful. I think this is probably one of the better written stories that is narrated by a child. Sometimes authors can get that wrong, and John Boyne just got that so right. He's a great writer. I really want to read more of him. I've read, I think, now 3 of his books, and I mean, I just can't get enough of this author. So, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is number 3. Number 2 is a book I don't have here. It's Washington Black. This is Canadian literature. Hi, this is exciting for me, and I read it at the very beginning of the year. My sister gave this to me with strict instructions to pass it on to someone else, and that is why I don't have it here. But I really enjoyed this book. This is about a boy named Washington Black. He lives in America and he is a slave. And he meets his slave master's brother, who comes to visit. And this man is like an adventurer. He travels all over the world. And this man does not believe in slavery. And he takes Washington Black with him on many adventures. And it is so well written. And it's about good intentions that are not educated. So this man who saves him really just seems to like string him along and think he's doing like an amazing job, and he's like this guy who's doing a really noble thing and taking this black boy out of slavery, and it you can tell it's well-intentioned, but sometimes well-intentioned things are not thought through and are still so caught up in white privilege. It's unbelievable. And I really enjoyed their relationship together. And it's about Washington Black's very many adventures with this man and beyond. And it is exquisitely written, like really, really well written. I just gobbled this book up. I did. I really enjoyed it. So that is number 2. And number 1 is a book that I actually had on my contemporary shelves. I don't know. I'm starting to like doubt myself as to what is historical fiction and what isn't. I always assumed it was like 1950 and before that. But now I'm finding out like Daisy Jones and the Six, which took place in the 70s, won Best Historical Fiction on the Goodreads list, the awards. And I was like, how, that's historical fiction? I don't know. Anyway, apparently this would be historical fiction then. And it would be my favorite of the year. It's The Secret Life of Bees. This is set in South Carolina in 1964, and we meet a young girl. She's, I think, in her early teens, named Lily. And her mother died many years ago when she was a girl. And she has some recollection about it. And she knows that she was there, and she knows that it was violent, and she knows that it was an accident. She's been, since then, kind of raised by this black woman named Rosaline. And Rosaline is very excited because I think she's off to vote. And she is on her way, and this group of very racist men show up in a truck, and they're taunting her and just being super rude to Rosaline. And Rosaline stands up for herself. I love her so much. This woman is so great. And she ends up going to jail. And Lily saves Rosaline from jail, and they have to escape. They escape, and they decide to go to a little town named Tiburon. It's also in South Carolina, and she decides this place because she's found this little box of goods that were her mother's. And she has this little box, and she keeps them close to her heart. And one of them is, I believe, a candle with the Mother Mary on it, and it says Tiburon. I'm probably pronouncing the name wrong. And so she's like, we're going to go there. And it's very much on a whim. They go there and they meet 3 beekeeping sisters, all named after months. And they're wonderful. It's such a good summer read. Oh my goodness. If I ever do like summer books to read, this is going to be right up there. It's so heartfelt, and the characters mean so much to you. They stay in your heart. I really, really, really loved this book. So this is the best historical fiction book that I read this year. I highly recommend it. I think it's one of my mom's favorite books, and I can't believe it took me so many years to read it, but here we are. Let me know in the comments below. It's a hard one, but what is the best historical fiction book that you read in 2019? I would love to know, because you never know if that will land on my TBR over the next coming months. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk with you tomorrow. Bye!